Hi, I'm Alicia, and this is The Factory. Today I will be going over Sierra.
Oh no. You just sent me an email after
When you first open Sierra, you will be prompted to enter your username and password. Usually this information will be automatically saved from previous users and you will not need to enter it, but if for some reason you must enter this information, it can be located on Teams under Important Information. Make sure you open two windows of Sierra as you will need to reference the search hold function occasionally when checking items in or out to ensure that kits are complete. Once Sierra loads, you will see this pop-up asking if you want to print date due slips. Always select yes. From there, the first thing you will want to do is set up the receipt printer. To do this, go to File, select Printer, Receipt Printer, and select Email to Patron. You'll want to do this for both instances of Sierra. It is important that this step is done because this will ensure that after closing a patron's information page, you will get a pop-up with the option to send the patron a confirmation email, stating the items were checked out to them that will also include the date and the items that are due. As a quick note, the standard procedure is to notify the patron to check their email for their due date. In Sierra, we will use three main functions. That is the checkout function, the check-in function, and the search hold function. We will go over those today in greater detail. Before you begin to check out a piece of equipment, make sure that you inspect that the item is working and that all of the pieces to the item are there. Please be very thorough when checking out items. If the kit is missing an item during your inspection, or if you notice a piece is broken, do not check it out and let the patron know that it is unavailable at this time, and email Judy of the issue. As you see here, there is an error that says this is not a valid index. This is because the information that was entered needs to have a 28 in front of it. So if it does not, make sure you enter that information. Since we've already inspected the item, we can go ahead and check it out to this patron. Here you'll have the barcode, the name of the item, and the date that it's due. As a quick note, we do not accept driver's license or any other form of picture ID. It must be their UNT student ID. However, if you are trying to find a patron's information and all you have is their name, you can do a name search in Sierra using N: and entering their last name and first name in that order. If they have a middle initial, it will be important to know that, as Sierra will pull up all individuals with that name. Only do this if you are checking for fines or if there is an issue with the patron's account. After we have scanned the item to this patron, we'll hit close and we'll select yes. This is the email that gets sent to the patron alerting them of their due date. If you are checking out to the factory, we will use the N: search method. The three accounts that we will need to know are Office to Factory, Office Factory Repair, and Office Factory Events. They will need to be entered as I have stated them for the information page to show us. Don't forget the N: or nothing will appear. As an example, I will do Office to Factory. We can see that the information was pulled up. We can also see the items that are checked out to us, the holds, the fines, and the items that have been checked in. We'll go ahead and hit close. The checkout function will also be used to check if the patron has signed any of our contracts for the equipment that is in space. That is the sewing machines, the soldering irons, the Vibe, or the Cricut. The list will be different for the equipment located at a DP. So I'm going to go ahead and scan the patron's ID once more. To check if they have signed our contracts, we go to View and we scroll down. We can see here all of their information that they've done and if they have ever been trained on any of our equipment. After we've checked it, we can just select Close. Next, we will go over the check-in process. This process should take about 10 to 15 minutes, depending on the item that you're checking in. We want to be extremely thorough when checking in a piece of equipment because we want to make sure that the kits are complete and everything comes back in working order. To check in an item, you do not need to have the patron's ID. However, to ensure that all pieces were checked in and nothing was missed, open up the second window of Sierra and go to the checkout function. I'm going to go ahead and check in the previous item. So we can see who it was checked out to, and the barcode, and all of the other information that we saw previously. I'm going to go ahead and select close. To check if we made sure that everything was checked in, I'm going to go ahead and scan the patron ID again. We can see the patron has no checked out items, so that means we didn't miss anything. We can go ahead and close their information, and we can put the item back into the corresponding cabinet, unless there is a hold. That will require a different process that we will go over next. The search hold function is useful when trying to identify which items are available for checkout and which items are not, or to see which items have a hold. I would recommend doing this before you tell a patron that an item is available. You will use this function throughout your check-in and out process. You can search by title or by barcode by selecting B on the keyboard from the drop-down menu. Normally when you open up Sierra and you go to search hold, it'll always be on title. Title is useful if you are looking for an item and you do not know the barcode. For example, if we are looking for a Canon lens, we can type in Canon, and it'll load some results. Here to the left, it's going to load different selections. So we have the format. The format that we will choose will be 3D objects. And down here we can see all of the Canon equipment that we have, since we are the only ones that hold 3D Canon objects. So if I'm looking for the 50mm lens and I select it, it'll pull up whether or not it's available, if there are holds, bookings, and the barcodes for this item. Of course, the simplest way would be to search by barcode, but just in case that is not accessible, this is a good alternative. If there is a hold on an item when you're going through the check-in process, there will be a message that pops up. When you scan the main barcode. I'm going to go ahead and change this back to barcode and scan this item. We can see here that there is actually a hold on this item. So over here to the left, if we go to item level hold, we can see more details about this hold. So we can see that the patron has to pick it up by the 29th. If it's not picked up by the 29th, we'll cancel the hold and it would go to the next patron that is also waiting for this item. So to actually activate a hold, you would need to check it in. So this hold will need to be scanned. So if we scan the item once more, we get this message. So always make sure you're looking up when scanning in items to make sure that you're aware of all the messages that are popping up. For this one, we'll go ahead and select yes. And we can see here that it's actually on hold for this individual. So every time you scan in an item that has a hold, it will have a message that pops up. We'll go ahead and select yes and enter the factory. unt.edu and select OK. So to cancel a hold, it's very similar to checking if there is a hold on an item. We go to search holds, we keep it on barcode since we have the item here in space, and we go ahead and scan that item. So we can see that this item specifically does have a hold on it. To take a further look, we'll go to item level hold. We can see the pickup date was actually yesterday. So as of today, this item is no longer on hold. To cancel a hold, you would select it and you would hit cancel holds. You would go ahead and select this one right here, and that has the item canceled. So we would close out of this. We would once again go to search holds, and we would just rescan the item to make sure that we did it correctly. So now we see that it's no longer on hold for anybody. On the due date, it still says on hold shelf because we haven't technically checked in the item. If we go to check in and scan the same item, it'll ask us this message. We'll go ahead and select yes, and then we can go back to search hold and check if the item was checked in properly. It once again now says available. If this item had another patron, it would have, like this one, a second person underneath. Once we were to check in this this tripod, it would alert the next patron that it was available for pickup, and it would also give them a pickup date. As an example, I'm going to go ahead and check in this item as well. So the first thing that I would do is cancel this first hold. So once I hit cancel hold, it'll take away that first patron. We'll hit OK. Next, we'll go to check-in, and we'll scan it. So now we see that it has gone to the next patron, and we'll select yes. So the reason that we do this is so it actually gives us a pickup date. As you saw previously, we did not have a pickup date for this item because it had not been checked in. But once we scan one more time, we go to item level hold, we can see this person's pickup date is on the 30th of this month. The last step that you would do is write the patron's information on the tag that is on this item. So you would put their last name and first name and the date that they would have to pick it up and place it in the hold shelf. The last thing we will be going over is bookings. Bookings have replaced the whole process for our DSLR cameras or any cameras that have interchangeable lenses and the lenses themselves. Since bookings are only for these specific cameras, to check if it has been booked, all you would need to do is scan the main barcode of the item in the search hold function, and I will do this shortly. So on the search holds function page, we will go ahead and scan the main barcode of this camera. We can see here that this camera actually has 3 bookings. If we go here to the left and inspect a little closer, if we select bookings, it lets us know which individuals have the camera booked. We can also see the dates that they have it booked for and the events that they have it booked for. Some of these bookings also have different lenses. So make sure you're checking the whole cabinet to see if there's a similar name to it attached to a lens or a tripod. We also have a booking card holder that is located by the contract forms that will list the bookings that are coming up for the week. So make sure to check that as well if you are unsure if a camera is available.